Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Haider Shah. On behalf of Kalwas, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have another very interesting topic, and I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker who is going to talk about mind mapping for academic excellence, a guide for students and researchers. Today, we will explore how mind mapping can transform your student and research strategies, enhancing creativity, organization, and productivity. Let's explore in this webinar the practical tips and insights to boost your academic journey. So, you will get the best insight about all these things as we have an expert with us in today's discussion. So stay tuned because an amazing stuff are coming ahead in this session. So before we start, I would like to thank Kavas for arranging such enlightenment sessions, for their support and providing us such a wonderful platform. The aim of Kalwas is to give you the opportunity to connect and interact with world-renowned speakers, academic leaders, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, and businessmen to learn from their experiences, recommendations, and suggestions, which will create an impact and will enable you to learn and develop yourself in order to grow and transform individually, as well as to contribute to the world in a positive way. As our slogan is "Come, Learn, and Share Knowledge." So today we have an amazing person as guest. We have requested her again because last time there was a wonderful warm response from the audience and it was a great webinar session with her. So she is kind enough that she has given her precious time to us again. Let me introduce her formally for the people who are joining for the first time. Uh, she is a versatile person having great qualities, have a vast experience and exposure, and internationally known and recognized speaker. She is an ELT professional with 25 years of teaching experience, holds degree in English language and literature and international relation, a master holder in English language teaching. She excelled as an NLP practitioner, mind mapping, speed reading, memory techniques instructor. Along with that, her expertise spans linguistic, neuroscience, and language research showcased through international presentations and hundreds of innovative mind maps. Along with that, she has recently focused on AI and the language teaching, innovation, and technology, as well as linguistic. Last but not the least, she's a wonderful speaker, author, teacher, researcher, professional, and above everything, a great human being. So please help me once again, our guest, Professor Dr. Tuba. Welcome to the Kalwas platform and thank you very much for joining us again, Prof.
Thank you, Dr. Haider, for this very warm welcome. And it is definitely a great pleasure and also honor for me to uh, to show on the stage and have a chance. I have this opportunity to share my knowledge here on Calvas by the invitation of yours. So I'm really grateful to have another opportunity to share my expertise and my passion, my enthusiasm on mind mapping. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much and over to you, please. Thank you.
Thank you. So, once more, I would like to welcome the audience. And mostly, as I'm told, our audience is researchers, postgraduate researchers, and also university students. So, I I prepared a presentation focusing on the benefits of mind mapping for academic excellence as a guide for university students and researchers. So I would like to welcome all the audience for the session on mind mapping for academic excellence. And I will be exploring how mind mapping can enhance your study techniques and research processes. So it is tailored for university students and postgraduate researchers. Let me start and introduce the content. So I will be giving a brief introduction what a mind mapping is, and I will also highlight the purpose and benefits of mind mapping as well as the history of mind mapping. And of course, we need to mention Tony Buzan's influence as the creator, as a father of mind mapping, who is a genius, I think. And we will be exploring the benefits of mind mapping for researchers and university students. And I will be sharing some mind maps, some applications of mind mapping in academics so that our audience can apply the mind mapping ideas and create mind maps for their department and for their lectures. And finally, I will be sharing some mind mapping tools and techniques because I am usually asked in webinars which mind mapping digital tools we can use. And I will be giving some brief information about those following a conclusion. And I will be very happy to answer the questions, the possible questions. Okay. So, we are living in the digital age and we are inundated with information, making effective study and research techniques more crucial than ever. And mind mapping harnesses cognitive abilities by offering a visual structure for organizing and synthesizing complex information. This technique engages a wide range of mental skills, thus boosting brain function and overall performance. So, as it is very clear that the university students and also researchers are exposed to lots of information. So it really requires a management of information. And as a result, mind mapping not only enhances memory retention and comprehension, but also stimulates creativity and critical thinking by visually mapping and out ideas and concepts. You can see the bigger picture and identify connections you might have missed using traditional note-taking methods. And the session will explore how mind mapping can revolutionize your approach to learning and research, making your academic journey more efficient and effective. So let's delve into the benefits of mind mapping and learn how this brain friendly, I call this brain friendly actually, technique can help you navigate the academic landscape with greater ease, boost your productivity, and achieve excellence in your scholarly pursuits. So let's unlock the full potential and transform the way you study and conduct research. And let me start with Tony Buzan. So I really would like to mention this genius with so many academic, great academic background. And let me introduce this genius because so that our audience can understand why mind mapping was created, because his story traces back his university days. So the internationally acclaimed inventor of mind mapping, he is renowned as the world's foremost authority on learning techniques. And mind maps are a revolutionary system for note taking and planning, often described as a Swiss Army knife for the brain, and are used by over 250 million, and it's getting more and more each day. Actually, probably this has been multiplied. People globally. And Buzan has authored numerous books and successful in over 100 countries and translated into 30 languages. And his excessive lecture tours have taken him over 2 million miles around the world, equivalent to traveling to the moon and back 4 times. So, as a consultant, as a graduate of psychology, Buzan has advised multinational companies like Microsoft, Boeing, HSBC, Oracle, and General Motors. So he has also coached elite athletes, including 5-time Olympic gold medalist Sir Stephen Redgrave. And he's also founder of the annual World Memory Championships. Buzan has conducted memory workshops for thousands of children in venues like the Royal Albert Hall in London. Actually, he was born in Great Britain in 1942. And many schools are now adopting the innovative teaching methods, and he collaborates with the education group Alpha Plus. Actually, he used to, because we lost him a few years ago, to make these techniques accessible to all students. So his philosophy is simple. Mastering the art of learning paves the way of academic success. And his best selling books include The Ultimate Book of Mind Maps, How to Mind Map, Mind Mapping at Work, The Power of Creative Intelligence, and The Mind Map for Kids. Actually, he has dozens of books. And he used to frequently appear in the media, including TV shows like BBC In Search of Genius and Blue Peter. And a lifelong advocate of mind mapping, Alec Hawke recounted Boson's assertion that he had studied the thinking methods of 100 historical geniuses, including Leonardo da Vinci, Edison, and Elizabeth I. So Boson purportedly found that these luminaries engaged in thinking characterized by vivid mental imagery rather than mere verbal processing. Actually, the image on the right is by Isaac Newton, another genius thinking in maps. So we can actually conclude that through history, many genius people use this method, this technique. Through a diverse array of engagements, including prolific writing, viral videos, and extensive public appearances, Boson significantly contributed to enhancing creativity, cognitive literacy, and memory skills worldwide. So, actually, I added a part of the interview between Tony Boson and Steve Williams. So it was published in www.teachthinking.com, and this reflects why mind mapping is globally a successful technique and method. And I think really people, particularly researchers, particularly scholars, university students, higher education students, really need to use these methods. So Steve says you introduced mind maps in your first book, Use Your Head. And the video on the right side is from a part of Use Your Head, episode 1, part 1, Change Your Mind. Actually, as you can see, he's holding a brain because he started studying on brain, how to learn better, how to manage the information better, how to memorize better. So Use Your Head about 30 years ago, and how has that idea developed and how does it link into with your current thinking? And Tony responds, mind maps began in my head when I was a student, not being able to take notes that helped me remember very well. I especially included this interview because I know that many university students and researchers have some difficulty in memorizing and reaching so much data. So that is why Tony Boson found this. He was faced the very same reality. The more notes I took, the worse my studying actually became. So I began to study memory and learning, and I checked my own results. I found they were always better when I started condensing things into keywords and concepts, and when I was making connections between things. Mind maps evolved out of that. In 1973, the BBC discovered the work I was doing with children who had learning disabilities, as they were termed then. We met 10 programs called Use Your Head, and I wrote a book of the same name to accompany this series. So mind mapping was based on a theory of memory and association, those two pillars of all learning and thinking. Work by others on the operations of the right and left cortex of the brain confirmed my beliefs about the value of mind mapping. I always been interested in memory. A long time ago, I fell in love with the stories of Minoson, the Greek goddess of memory. Zeus, the god of energy, had children with Minoson, and those children were the 9 muses who presided over the arts and sciences and were supposed to inspire all artists. The story suggests that if you put energy and memory together, you get creativity. that made sense to me. One of the big evolutions of mind mapping was that with children to help them remember and study. But I began to realize that memory and creativity are very closely connected. They are flip sides of the same coin. So, before explaining what a mind map is, I would like to also add that this is very important, I think, really crucial, because mind mapping is a technique that involves both left and right brain spheres, and it appeals people to all sort of um, learning styles. So let me go forward. Let me start by explaining what a mind map is. On the right side, you see a brain and some curved lines, because a mind map is a diagram basically for representing tasks, words, concepts, or items, and it is linked to and arranged around a central concept or subject using a non-linear graphical layout. And it turns a long list of monotonous information into a colorful, memorable, and highly organized diagram. And as I explained, it was first created by Tonabazan, though it was used by many genius people. But the most developed version was created by Tonabazan, who completed his undergraduate degree in psychology, English, mathematics, and science. On the subject, Tony Buzan has written over 100 best-selling books, and even more, and translated into 150 languages and read by millions of people worldwide, as I mentioned. And after all these linear lists, here is a mind map on a mind map. Let me explain this a bit. As you can see, we have a central topic and preferably a central image. You don't have to, but it would be better idea if you insert a central image related to central topic. It helps you memorize it. And we have keywords. We don't write the full sentences because the brain doesn't like full sentences. It actually eliminates all the conjunctions and less important words. So that's why we only use keywords, and we use colors because brain learns with colors better than only black and white. And we use images because it provides the associations, and we provide this with symbols. So it makes many times more possible to memorize information. And we use it clockwise. Have you ever thought why clock is clockwise? Because the brain works, it learns from right to the left side. That is why a clock is clockwise. And we all need curves. Why do we need curves? I'm going to show an image later at the end of my presentation, because everything is connected, and the brain lacks curves because a brain cell has actually curves. And we need main branches, and you can add your mind map many baby branches, subtopics, as many as you would like to, you need to. And also you can create your mind maps by hand. You can draw them. Also, there are so many numerous great digital mind mappings, and the advantages of digital mind maps are you can also include YouTube links, your personal notes, your voice recordings, and a hypertext, and some other links. Actually, you can add so many things in a digital mind map. So this is a brilliant advantage for people, for researchers, and for university students, definitely. So you can get the whole stuff in only one image. That is a huge thing. That means that you can even hold a book, maybe, or the whole article in one or a few mind maps. That is a great advantage. And Here is a general mind map about the benefits of mind mapping. This is simple because I would like to start from the simple, going into the complex, one by one, step by step. So mind mapping, as we mentioned before, it definitely provokes creativity. It supports creativity with, you can always add your ideas. It allows a great brainstorming, and it also, as a result, leads to innovation. Whatever your department, whatever your topic, whatever your title is, you can always find yourself uh, building, creating some innovative ideas. And it also supports productivity. It leads you to be more intuitive and more efficient in your work, in your study. And what is more, and what is, I think, quite important, is it actually allows collaboration, because um, no, it can be both by hand or by using digital mind maps. You can always collaborate with mind maps. You can add the new branches within a group, within a team, within a classroom, within a lecture, within a presentation. So it allows you to share and to work as a team. I think this is a amazing advantage for the mind map kind of work. And other benefits are, it is a time saver, because you don't have to write all those sentences actually, and it can be personalized. And as I mentioned, it is brain friendly, as it is non-linear. It includes curves and colors and keywords, and this is something very much the brain likes. And so it is easy to memorize. So while you are revising your lecture, or you are preparing a presentation for your lecture, or if you're preparing for your exam, it is definitely a better and more efficient way to memorize. And it is actually more simple and more fun. The brain has fun working on mind maps and studying with mind maps. And it also provides a great overview on the study that you're working. And I have some linear text. So through my presentation, I have some text, and I have the mind mapping versions, mind map versions of the text, so that the audience can compare what the differences between linear texts, dull texts, monotonous text, and the mind maps created out of that. So as I mentioned, mind maps are effective tools for higher education, because it helps students organize and connect complex information in a way that is more intuitive and visually appealing. And I will briefly mention some benefits of using mind maps in higher education, in university education. It provides visual representation. They help students to visualize information, because um, many students have the visual learning style. So only text, they cannot memorize uh, the information, the knowledge they are working on. So this can be helpful in understanding complex concepts, relationships, and hierarchies. So an active learning, by creating a mind map, students are actively engaging with the materials. So there is an interaction between the information and the learner himself or herself. So this can help to reinforce their understanding and retention of the information. Memory retention. Mind maps can be useful for memory retention, because they allow students to create visual associations between different concepts and ideas. Usually within a text, it does not, the traditional text do not provide connecting the dots. So the interrelation between the information. but mind maps do it. And efficient note-taking technique. As an efficient note-taking system, mind maps can be an efficient way to take notes during lectures, as they allow students to capture key points and ideas in a visual and organized manner. And in that way, the students won't catch important points through a lecture. And in creativity, when it comes to creativity, mind maps encourage students to be creative in their approach to learning, which can help to stimulate new insights and ideas. And as I mentioned, it provides collaborative learning. It can be a helpful tool for group work, and they allow students to collaborate and build on each other's ideas. And overall, using mind maps in higher education can be a valuable tool for organizing information, retaining knowledge, and encouraging creative thinking. And here is a mind map as a summary, as a visual reflection of the information given a moment before. And as you can see, from right to left, we can summarize that the benefits of mind mapping in higher education: it enhances deep learning, and it increases presentation skills, which is important for researchers and also university students. And it functions as a tool of academic research, which I will mention a bit later. And it enhances memory through the use of mental triggers, provides better information retention, facilitates a free flow of ideas, and fosters creativity. It provides a brilliant review of information. It contributes brainstorming and outlining before writing processes. It makes complex issues easier to understand because our brain learns better when we chunk the information. It is like chewing a food with a big bite, and we cannot just digest it. We need to eat in small bites. Just like this, the brain requires small chunks, and mind mapping does that. And it improves collaboration, teamwork, and it maps out an essay or exam papers. And it is a visual representation, and it helps in better in note taking. Also, something very important for university students. And here are 2 pages from my master's degree documents. I have included it because I wanted to give an example from my real life. On the left side, one of my master's degree lectures. It includes the writing test types. As you can see, they're only linear notes, no images, no color, nothing interesting for the brain. And on the right side, another lecture note, 1 page. And please focus on this. This image is from the very first page about writing test types. It includes almost all the knowledge, and as I mentioned before, it is not a live digital sharing, so I cannot actually show the links that has been inserted, but you can insert any links, any videos, the original documents, the voice recordings yourselves, and any kind of hypertexts you can actually insert to your mind map. And it is possible with many digital mind mapping softwares. I'm using particularly a few of them, actually, and I will mention a few of them. I will recommend a few of them. And all the software that I've been using so far, I can insert the links and documents and anything that I would like to add more. So you can think of this mind map as multi-dimensional. This is not only one-dimensional. This is multi-dimensional. Okay, and this is the map created on the second page. And as you can see, This is how do we assess learners' alternative techniques of assessment. So this is the whole page actually. As you can see, there are the keywords and some baby branches and other baby branches, subtopics, and only keywords. And I've also added some interesting images so that I can understand and memorize better, and I can have fun while studying and revising for exams, for example. And by the way, my grade is 98 out of 100. So this is a proof that mind mapping works. And I'm sharing some examples about some departments, some bachelor's degree departments, for example, management department. And I've created a mind map. Actually, I have hundreds of mind maps, and every day I'm creating a few ones more. And I create my mind maps on any topic that I find interesting. And this is about the characteristics of management. Easy one. And you can add many subtopics, as many as you want. And as I emphasized many times, you can always insert the videos, your handmade documents, even your voice recordings or your lecture recordings, or what kind of document you need, you can always insert into your mind map if you're using a digital one. And this is related to criminal law. Yes, I have created a mind map on some lecture notes. Actually, I was researching on the criminal law and in chapters, and this has been created basically on the criminal law. As you can see, it just seems much more easier than traditional note-taking system. So while the students, the university students, are taking notes during a lecture, this works much better than trying to write the whole sentence. And what are the benefits of mind mapping for researchers? Let me explain a bit more. And Dr. Haider, are we having the questions at the end, or?
Yes, Prof. We will be taking question at the end. You can continue, please.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So the benefits of mind mapping for researchers, and what researchers need is the creativity and also the idea generation. Mind mapping helps us by encouraging free thinking, by visual exploration of possibilities. Because while writing some linear notes, the brain cannot see the connections and actually cannot be that creative, because the brain itself does not work linear, but in kind of non-linear way. And because it is non-linear format, it needs non-linear format, and it identifies connections between concepts, and it leads to innovative solutions, provides fresh perspectives on research topics. I really like, while doing my work, my tasks, I really like creating handmade mind maps. Actually, I can always add more and more, but when I'm doing it linearly, it never works as efficiently as it works with mind maps. And it is also a great way of improving organization and structure by providing clear and organized structure by visual representation of ideas, and identifies the relationships between elements and helps it organizing thoughts. And it aids in planning research projects, and it structures academic papers and presentations. And another function of mind mapping for researchers is facilitating better understanding or intention by visual presentations, enhancing comprehension, and it's easier to understand and remember than text. It engages multiple brain areas, This is definitely very important, very crucial, I think. It helps grasp complex concepts quickly, and it enhances memory retention. Another point is boosting productivity and efficiency by streamlines the research process, by breaking down large projects into manageable parts, by setting priorities and tracking progress. And I think this is another point that university students and particularly researchers may find to set the priorities and tracking the progress. It provides a quick overview, review, and update of mind maps. It keeps researchers organized. And I personally know some researchers that they often say that they get lost within the information, within the research process, and mind mapping really avoids a huge amount of this getting lost, and it maintains focus on objectives. And the practical applications it provides is brainstorming research ideas, conducts literature reviews, designs research methodologies, and organizes data and findings, and writes. It provides writing research papers and reports, and it also provides preparing presentations. And I would like to refer a few academic research that has been conducted on mind mapping. The study by Gavins, Diagnon, Camus, Chellew, Zettler, and Paparouche evaluated whether mind mapping provides additional learning benefits beyond testing alone. Conducted on 9th grade students, the research compared two strategies, testing with mind mapping and testing alone. Results shows no significant advantage of mind mapping over testing alone, with similar progress in both groups from pre-learning to post-learning assessments. Despite potential for improvement indicated by low mean scores, it did not enhance performance. Actually, the students significantly reached a greater progress. So this suggests that mind mapping might impede performance by reducing the necessity for retrieval effort, a key process in effective learning strategies. And the frequent use of mind maps may prevent memory trace decay and hindering the retrieval effort essential for learning. And another research conducted by Amin and Hina investigated the impact of mind mapping technique on students' intrinsic motivation at the higher education level, revealing that students perceive mind mapping as beneficial for enhancing understanding, academic efficiency, memory, summarizing information, and organizing notes. The technique facilitates that development of linkages and identification of differences among concepts, acting as an internal regulator for intrinsic motivation. I think this is crucial for learning and for success, this intrinsic motivation. And these findings align with the researchers' observations and are supported previous studies by Ryan and LaGuardia. The study further indicates that most students exhibit good to excellent levels of intrinsic motivation. And this is a text that I'm not going to read, but this is actually related to the mind map based on the criminal law chapter 8, as you remember. So this whole text has been transformed into, let me show again, this mind map. So this is basically the same information, the same information, and look at the differences. Which one appeals you more? Which one looks more attractive to you? The very same knowledge, the very same information. And this is the other text related to the management that I shared you. The same information. Okay. Look at that. The evolution of management thought. The evolution of management thought. This is a linear text, the traditional text, and this is a mind map. A very simple mind map. So you don't have to spend hours to create mind maps. All you have to do is just picking up the very important information within the sentence and just drawing diagrams and maybe use some symbols, maybe highlighters, and create a much more appealing, brain-friendly, not taking technique. And finally, let's make it concrete why brain likes mind maps. Because a mind map resembles a brain cell. That is why. Actually, it copies a brain cell. So while working, while studying, the brain likes to see itself. That is why. Look at this. That is the center of a brain cell with some axons and cell body and the dendrites and the endoplasmic reticulum nucleus and stuff like that. And this is very much like the brain, like the mind map. That's why Tony Buzan created this, because he knew that brain didn't like traditional note-taking methods, but the brain works like this. The brain creates the new connections by connecting. So the new ideas, the thoughts that human brain produces is produced like this. That's why you can be much more creative on a mind map. This is a concrete reflection of what I've tried to say so far. And I have some software recommendations. The mind map softwares I have used in my presentation and I fancy using is particularly iMindMap by Tony Buzan. Actually, it was replaced by Iowa. They also include AI. So by the free versions, they don't include AI, but if you just have them, also you can give the topic and you can get some AI-based mind maps. And also another one is XMind. This is definitely a very practical one. I'm going to explain in a few minutes. Meister, it has some features I have written in details because I've always asked these questions. And yeah, XMind, as I mentioned, it is the pros are versatile, supports a wide range of diagram types. It has so many diagram types that you can apply them in any department, any topic, any kind of lecture, any kind of purpose. And you can export options like PNG and PDF and GPEX, stuff like that. And Lucidchart, we have Lucidchart, and we have Google, we have MindNote, we have FreeMind, and of course, they have the free versions with some limited usage, limited collaboration, limited features. And if you prefer to buy them, then you can use it in a more featured way. And yes, to conclude, mind mapping is a transformative tool for university students and postgraduate researchers striving for academic excellence. Rooted in Tony Buzan's pioneering work, mind mapping enhances memory and recall by leveraging visual learning, promotes meaningful learning by integrating new concepts with existing knowledge, and makes learning more engaging and enjoyable. It simplifies complex ideas, aiding in strategic planning and detailed analysis, and enhances presentation skills by structuring thoughts logically. Mind mapping boosts creativity and innovation through lateral thinking, increases productivity by aiding efficient information processing, and is versatile, applicable across various academic tasks from studying and revising to project planning and content creation. By integrating mind mapping into their academic practices, students and researchers can unlock their full potential, achieve higher levels of academic success, and navigate their educational journeys with greater confidence and clarity. And here are my references. And here is my contact information in case you might have further questions. You can contact me through my LinkedIn profile, which I use very actively, and also you can email me. And I have a WordPress blog, as well as a YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I have especially short that so that you cannot confuse with some other YouTube channels. And also, I have a professional Instagram account, and you can also reach me through this account. Thank you so much for. Okay, let me stay here for a while. And okay, I cannot find my thank you page. I had a thank you page, it just got lost. But I
Yeah.
thank you for your patience, for your focus. Thank you so much. Yes, Dr.
Yes,
Haider?
thank you very much, Prof. Tuba. It was really nice to hear a lot of wonderful things. And I love the way you just started from the history, what is it, and you showed the examples which were very interesting, and you connected back to the biological aspect of brain cell, that how our brain actually works, how it is designed, and why mind mapping is uh, necessary in order to understand. And I love the way you just incorporated that how it is beneficial for the researcher, the students, what is. And I love your one of the phrase in which you just mentioned that memory and creativity is the two sides of the same coin. If it is the flip side of the same coin. So I really like that kind of phrases, and the way you were explaining was so nice, so great. And I was just connecting the dots that really how our mind works in that way, that we see things in a color, we see things in a non-linear relationship, and that makes things easy for us and for our brain to remember. And really in research, what you were pointing out right from the writing literature, writing the paper, the presentation, in all those points it's very important to have the mind mapping, because it plays a very significant role in that perspective. So I really just enjoyed this session, and it was so engaging that I did not even take a sip from the water, and I just wanted to not miss any part of it. The way you were explaining was so great, so nice, and so many questions you have already addressed in your wonderful content and wonderful explanation. A lot of questions were regarding the idea generation and the other things, and I could see that very nicely you already incorporated in your slides like this. And the same way, the way people just ask a lot of questions that how it is important for the students and researcher, you have already addressed it. And then they
Yes.
ask about that how can mind mapping help in particularly critical thinking and problem solving skills, you have already addressed it. They ask
Mm-hmm.
the question related to the how it is important in the literature review and visualizing the things, you have already incorporated. So your
Mm-hmm.
presentation was just like, it was the uh, you squeeze the ocean into a drop. But
Yes.
nevertheless, there are few questions which needs your elaboration and explanation. So
Sure.
should we start with the first question, please? Yeah. So the first question they want to ask that, Prof, what are the potential limitations or challenges of using mind mapping in academic context, and how can these be addressed in your opinion? Yes, please.
Mm-hmm. So, actually, a person needs to really needs to have the ability of picking the most important parts of an academic context. So the numbers and the dates and the references and whatever is the most crucial part of the whole text, the context, academic context. And um, well, I would just recommend using a digital mind map instead of using uh, creating mind maps by hand, because in digital mind maps, actually at the beginning, at the very first beginning, a person may not find it very easy to create some digital mind maps nor the hand ones. But as you are getting familiar and remember neuroplasticity, I also got trainings on neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity, you always need to repeat a habit at least for 21 days. So as you start creating a mind map, just creating mind maps, your brain will start to have the skill to pick up the most important part of the information. So you will gain some scanning and getting the most information, the most important information part. This is a skill that I have just gained by creating hundreds of mind maps. So whenever I look at a text, I can very easily find the most important parts of an academic text. Actually, I also owe it the speed reading. Actually, I'm also a speed reading instructor. So together with, because many trainings are given together with speed reading and mind mapping. So these are two related. So I would also recommend researchers to have the speed reading trainings. And I think these are the potential limitations. You need to really research on the digital mind maps, and they're they have things in common. And as I have just showed in my slide presentation, there are some differences. So you really need to find the most, proper one, the most suitable one according to your needs and personality. That might be a limitation, and yet I don't recall any other limitation at the moment.
It's completely fine. Very nice, and thank you very much for your elaborative answer. And now, since there is a time limitation, so let me quickly move to the another important question. The another question they want to ask that what are the privacy and security consideration when using the cloud-based mind mapping tools for storing and sharing sensitive research data? Because nowadays
Mhm,
you know that there is a lot of
mhm,
cyber
mhm,
crime and
mhm,
a lot of things
mhm,
happening. So what
mhm.
is your recommendation on that question, please?
Actually, I never prefer cloud-based mind mapping tools. I always save what I create in personal PNG, GPG, and PDF format. So uh, yes, I would recommend to save the sensitive data personally, not cloud basically. So uh, that's my
Wonderful.
recommendation.
Very
Yes.
nice, very nice. I think this question you have already addressed, but if you would like to add anything in that, the researcher want to ask that how does mind mapping contribute to the development of conceptual framework and theoretical framework in academic research? You have already addressed in the benefits of the researcher, but if you want to add anything, or if you say, then we can move towards the another question.
Yes, as the words, as we mentioned, as particularly some European countries. For example, I can give an example, and actually, I mentioned this briefly. That Tony Buzan discovered that students with special education need, it helps greatly. Mind mapping works greatly. Actually, I have also worked on this. For example, uh, students with autism or students with dyslexia, for example. So in many developed countries, uh, actually, some information is already based on mind mapping techniques. So actually, mm, some governments and some institutions have already started preferring conceptual framework and mind maps, because it is a very much more effective way of presenting a data and preserving a data. So um, actually, globally, the world has been shifting into uh, much more effective ways of managing things. So the the spirit of the logic behind my prep is already conceptual. You have a main point, main topic, a main concept, and it has been surrounded by some subtopics. So it is, or it itself is already conceptual, and it is a great way of revising uh, loaded data. So it really contributes to show off a framework very successfully in a way. So it already many institutions already use it as a means of framework actually.
Very nice. And I would second you because this is how the organization plan and they structure everything. And I think that's very important for the organization to incorporate it. Our second question is also somehow related to it, and that's the last question as well. They want to ask regarding the collaborative work that can mind mapping be effectively used for collaborative research projects? Yes,
Mhm.
please.
Yes, actually, particularly what I use, like Xmind and Iowa, it includes the collaborative part. So just like using Google Doc, um, anyone working on the same project can add new ideas anytime, uh, both as synchronous way or asynchronous way. So you don't have to limit yourself into one place nor one time. So I highly recommend the researchers to use the digital mind maps, particularly a few of them that I mentioned, for example, Xmind, to conduct their research projects because they are not time limited, they are not place limited, and it also allows lots of creativity and productivity, and it is such a helpful way for projects because project means creativity, isn't it? So, and it requires teamwork, collaboration, and mind maps are brilliant ways of providing this as uh, the whole team using that digital mind map can work on the same data at the same time. This is quite an advantage.
Wow, very nice, very wonderful elaboration of that. And I think, as we were discussing before the session started, that the teamwork that actually matters, and most of the time we are working in a team. So I think it's more beneficial in working in team, and that would be more significant as well. So, as expected, I knew that this session is going to be wonderful with you, and today I learned a lot from you, and I'm sure that our audience from around the globe they would have learned a lot from you. And I could see some of the slides, the framework, the benefits of the mind mapping was designed by you because the reference I
Yes.
could see. So that's the real contribution. What a genius you are, and what an expert you are that you have designed in a wonderful way. I think I thought initially that this slide belongs to the Dr. Tony. But when I saw at the end there was your name written over there, so at that time I really appreciated your knowledge and expertise on the field, and that's why most of your work and your passion related to this field because you have a very in-depth knowledge regarding this topic. And I'm glad that you have given us your precious time and explained in a wonderful way. And it was very valuable webinar session for our audience. Thank you very much once again, Prof. Tuba. And as you know, at the end of the session, we asked our each guest regarding their message to the world. So, what is your message this time to the world as a speaker, author, teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, and educator? Yes, please.
Huh. Thank you. Yes, actually, to add, all of the mind maps that I've created so far, I've just presented in my presentation, have been created by me, including the very tiny mind map on the cover, on the presentation, on the cover presentation. So
Brilliant.
yes, I have never used another one from any environment. So they're all original. I just did it on purpose, and hopefully this led our attendants to gain an insight to be more creative because the world needs more creativity. It needs the projects to be applied so that our world will get into a higher level. what we need is more science, what we need is more work, what we need is more collaboration, actually. So a mind mapping, as I said, resembles a brain cell. Actually, we are connected to each other like brain cells. And what we need is to collaborate with each other like brain cells. And the mind mapping somehow resembles this. That's why maybe I fell in love with mind maps as well. So I think through this presentation, our attendants, our audience can get some insights and also inspiration to act more collaboratively, and also to see the bigger picture, that everything is connected. That's why I ended my presentation with a brain cell and with a mind map. So I would like to emphasize that everything is related, and I would like to end with a great mind, somebody that I adore, Leonardo da Vinci. As I said, he also used this mind mapping technique. I have also researched on his some handmade drawings and some notes as a genius that I highly respect. And Leonardo da Vinci said, learn to see, and learn how to see, learn how to see and realize that everything connects to everything else. So every little step that we do, every little work study that we do, conduct that we do, makes a change in the world. So let us see this connection through this presentation, that just like the genius Leonardo da Vinci quoted, learn how to see, and let's realize that everything connects to everything else. Thank you.
Wow, wonderful message you have given to the world, and you have given the reference of one of the genius as well. And I believe that's really true. Everything is connected, and the way we are affecting each other, the way we radiate, the way we are receiving the vibes from each other is really impact us. And thank you for your positive contribution and giving this wonderful presentation, which is actually creating a positive impact. And the people are connecting to this topic because everyone, whoever is the student or the researcher who is watching this or who will be watching in the future, will definitely get benefit out of it, and they will look into your work, particularly these wonderful slides which you have created by yourself. They will definitely look into it, and I would encourage them to please contact with you for further guidance and for further learning as well, because as you mentioned, everything is collaborative and we learn even from each other, and people like you who are the experts in the field are there to guide the upcoming researchers and students in this field. And I found this mind mapping is very fascinating and very attractive, and I may start researching on it as well, because it's very interesting one. And thank you once again for your wonderful presentation. And to the audience, please do follow our distinguished guest speaker through her research work, and you can email him for her for future learning and guidance. She is very generous and always ready to help the people. Moreover, she has already given in her last slide the details that you can contact with her, but we will also mention in the description of this video so that you can connect with her for any guidance and for any help. She is always there to help out you. That's all we have time for today, and thank you once again, Professor Tuba, for your wonderful presentation, and your energy level was so great, so high. Thank you for your precious time.
My great pleasure, and thank you too for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Dr. Haider.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for your support and liking our session. Stay tuned as many sessions are on the way. Please do not miss any session. Until next session, take